Globally, there are more people living in urban areas than in rural areas, 54% of the world's population. And it is predicted that by 2025, a staggering 66% of the world's population will reside in urban areas. There's a fundamental shortage of existing infrastructure that will be adequate in the coming decades to sustain these global cities. This incremental growth will see extreme changes to the size and spatial distribution of the world's population. This requires a critical shift of specialized expertise from the perspective of the practitioner, communities, NGOs, and the government to address the issues that will and already have begun to materialize in cities today. Too often the void between economic value and social impact is far too disproportionate, leaving the urban poor to fend for themselves in order to create their own social mobility. Theoretical frameworks identify 4 methodologies in order to capture the nuances and complexities of poverty from a distinct point of view. Each applies their own tailored understanding of particular contexts and a shift in thinking about social engagement. The 4 frameworks provide a means of understanding and addressing the issues pertaining to informal urbanization as a global phenomenon and can be applied to the context of South Africa and other cities experiencing the strains of urbanization. The Collective Imagination Studio provoked multiple discussions and alternative propositions regarding these vulnerable and dismissed groups by trying to reach a compromise by the multiple parties affected. Euston in the United Kingdom and Woodstock in South Africa have been used as the basis against which to test the collaborative workshop studio and to develop alternative strategies which respond to and learn from the dynamics of different designers. In Euston, we proposed an alternative housing strategy to house those who would be displaced by the upgrade of the train station by utilizing one green space as a new housing block and relocating families within Camden, keeping them close to the community they know. It also brought about discussions of policy and planning, future strategies, and trusts to ensure community tenure between investors and residents, a resilience strategy. This will alleviate the stress of relocating completely out of Camden community and will offer the flexibility to meet varying density compositions. Woodstock, Cape Town was utilized as the second case study. I felt it was far more beneficial as the context is and was more accessible. As a studio, there was a wider sense of knowledge around the dynamics of South African governmental initiatives and some experience of social engagement. The discussions during Week 2's Collective Imagination Studio, perhaps out of the familiarity of the structured tasks, were grounded and far more engaged with. The Collective Imagination Studio activities, although fictional, began to push the boundaries of traditional practice. The collaborative nature of this workshop provided useful skills in negotiating group dynamics, intense focused brainstorming, disseminating ideas, feedback sessions, and adapting, developing, and debating ideas within a diverse group of thinkers. Engagement speaks of relationships that involve collaboration and sharing of control over a project. There are different ways to engage, and a spectrum which stretches from consultation, participation, joint decision-making to community initiatives.